Hi there. In this video we're going to take a look at this. A 13-inch MacBook Air. This is the top-of-the-line 13-inch MacBook Air. 1.7 GHz Intel Core i5 processor, 4 GB of DDR3 memory, 256 GB solid-state hard drive. If we start with the exterior of this machine, it is of course very thin and very light. So, what kind of connectors does such a thing has? Well, over here on the right side we have this, a Thunderbolt port combined with a mini display port. We have one USB port and we have the card reader. We also have the MagSafe connector, the USB port number 2, and we have a stereo jack here. If we then start digging right into everything this Mac has, as you would expect, we have the multi-touch trackpad here, and it actually works great. It's very precise, it's very fast, and you can do almost anything instantly from the moment you take the computer out of this box. The keyboard is also very nice. It's not too swampy, but the keys are not so hard that they actually feel like concrete. So it is exactly like you would expect a MacBook to be. But this is not an ordinary MacBook. This has some special features under its hood. And let's just take them here one at a time. We'll start with the battery life. That is, of course, one of the most important things of a portable. The battery is claimed to last up to 7 hours surfing the web with half percent brightness on the screen. I haven't really been able to achieve it. But if you're surfing the right websites, I guess that should be possible. However, with my usage, playing music, writing papers, surfing the web and all these things, I am around 4 hours of lifetime on the battery during my day. Thing is, of course, this computer is, because of its solid-state hard drive, incredibly fast. That is its next super fantastic feature. But how fast is this thing really? Well, let's find out. So I'm going to shut down the computer now, and I'm going to ask it to launch all my applications again. And now let's try to see if I actually, how fast this will boot. There we go. There is the Apple logo. And we're still waiting here. There it is. I'll just quickly type my password here. Take 2 to 3 seconds out of this and you'll have the time. But it's not only here this Mac is incredibly fast, and we're actually not done with my stopwatch here because we actually have one more thing that I would like to do. I'm now going to launch a photo here that is 35 megabytes in size, and it's going to launch Photoshop now also. So let's just get this started here. Here we go, there's Photoshop. And there is the document. So actually what I would like to do now is just close this file here and actually show you how I build this image. Actually run it live here. I'm not very good at making these actions. I'm always making issues and mistakes along the way, so it's going to be a very simple build as you just saw, and it's not going to be very pretty. So let's just get this going. It's going to create an image here of 4 times the resolution of high definition. and it's going to run Gaussian blurs, radial blurs, and it's going to do some adjustments to the image as well, some level adjustments, some contrast and some brightness adjustments. It's also going to do some layer mask tricks, and there it's finished. And now here's one of my issues. For some reason this pops up every time I run this demo, but it is done. And that took only 39 seconds to run through this, and there is around 30-40 actions around here. And when you're doing more than one thing on this computer, you don't really feel that it slows down when you're doing more than one thing, because the solid state is just always up to speed. The screen here we just popped a little bit easy over before, but you actually just saw it here in Photoshop. This screen is kind of roomy, given the fact that this is a 13-inch notebook. This has a 1440 by 900 resolution, so it's the same as the standard 15-inch MacBook Pro. And that means when you're working in applications like Photoshop or Pages, you can have all your palettes up along with your document. And that you really learn to like. And of course, this is a thin, and I really mean thin display. But you can't really see when you're working on it that it's thin. It's very, very well lit up, and it's very, very bright. And the fact that it adjusts automatically how much brightness is needed and also lights up the keyboard is fantastic. This backlight illuminated keyboard is fantastic. But of course it's not all good sweet apples here. There is some sour ones around here too. And that is, of course, this computer is incredibly thin, and they have packed it with power. A 1.7 GHz processor that's capable of turbo boosting all the way up to 2.7 will give some temperature away from it. And that means this can get a little bit hot. At shorter periods of time it's not going to get that hot. But working for a longer period of like 10 to 15 minutes, it can become a little bit hot in simple tasks like arranging and managing photos in iPhoto, maybe building some slideshows. And I have actually experienced that when I charge the computer and just work basically on it, writing some papers, listening to some music, checking my email and going onto the web to check if I have any messages there on YouTube or whatever, and it gets a little bit hot, especially around this area here. And that is actually also around the place where the processor should be positioned. So that's a little bit of a problem. You can sit with it in your lap if just browsing the web, Facebook, whatever. But for a little bit more heavy tasks, you want to have it on the desk. There is one thing that I would like though. This is the perfect travel companion. It's thin, it's light, it doesn't take much room in your bag. One thing that's just missing from this picture is, why haven't they built in a 3G antenna in this computer? Because, well, do they expect when you pay this much for a computer that you also have an iPhone or another smartphone that you can connect with it and browse the web via that? And I think that's bad. This is my review of this computer. I actually think in general this is a pretty good computer, and this is the facts. And if I were to give this computer a rating between 0 and 6, I would like to give this computer 4. And why am I knocking out 2 stars? Well, I miss the 3G connection in this computer. That would be the top of the cake. They advertise 7 hours on these computers with a lot of compromise. And I don't do compromises, and I think for my average use, 4 hours, my MacBook Pro did just as well, and I actually expected a solid state drive to put up more of a fight in terms of battery life. So I think that's 1 off 2. My final verdict is going to be, it's a fantastic computer, and should you buy one if you're in the market for a MacBook Air, indeed you should. And thank you for watching. you.